I think so, babe. But that chase
Oh, hi. You've caught me taking over the world. Or in this case, taking over the multiverse. Alright, anyway. You've reminded me that it's time for the That's Censored and That's Sinkhole, where we encourage our viewers to understand the distinction between their donkey and a hole in the ground. Let's start with some Rush lyrics from their second album, Fly By Night. Start a new chapter. Find what I'm after. It's changing every day. The change of a season is enough of a reason to want to get away. Quiet and pensive, my thoughts apprehensive. The hours drift away, leaving my homeland, playing a lone hand. My life begins today. Welcome to the first day of the rest of your lives. And the last weekend of summer, by the way. Summer ends on Monday, early in the morning. Have you idiotically tried to go to Area 51? Well, they didn't either. They were someplace else. But some people did, and they were met by significant resistance. Please don't go to Area 51. You're not going to, quote, see them aliens, end quote. And you're not going to get in to a top secret government technology facility. So just go to the party in Las Vegas or something. Please don't go to Area 51. I mean, these folks made sure they shot this from an angle where they couldn't see the security personnel, which are like right over out of frame here. And it's, yeah. Anyway, hundreds of people began arriving at the gate yesterday. And many sprinted the last 100 yards before stopping at the gate. By the way, those two are not there anymore. You will not find them. So there's no aliens there. Sorry. Let's talk about some real technology here. Apparently the U.S. Navy and the Pentagon have indicated that the UFO footage is real and says it was never supposed to be released. Here's a clip. Now, do I think this is from outer space? Not necessarily. Anyway, here's a clip, I think. And I do have some theories about this. Let's get into it. Now, these craft are very similar to what Bob Lazar described. There we go. Now we got some motion. And you can see this thing is traveling at quite a speed. And this jet, an FA-18 Super Hornet, is in a pretty hard turn here the whole time. As this thing is going just perpendicular to his flight path, it looks like. Perpendicular to his flight path, what you would do if you were trying to avoid a rocket lock. And but this is exactly like what Bob Lazar described. If you listen to the Joe Rogan Experience, this craft is exactly the kind of gravity canceling, self-gravitating object. Everything about the way it works. What's the tie-in with Zeta Reticuli? Who knows, folks? Who knows? Is it just made up? Could be made up. My theory is that these things could be artifacts that we found in the earth. Perhaps ancient human artifacts built by humans. Perhaps hundreds of thousands of years ago. As there's been a lot of interesting archaeological finds. Perhaps some of them have been a little bit more technologically advanced than others. Let's just leave it there and move on. Are you using social media? Shout out to Eden'll Do for sending a message. Please don't send us messages on Facebook. just send an email to smAshomAsh@gmail.com, as Facebook Messenger is one of the least secure things to use on the internet. Let's continue talking about Facebook, but first let's talk about our other social media like gab.com. If you didn't see this morning's space weather video, we'll go watch it. There's the thumbnail. Yes, there's a coronal mass ejection. We covered it yesterday. Also on Minds, just recently getting to 500,000 views with our meager 709 subscribers. Minds.com/smAshomAsh. The social media that won't censor you. It's open source. It won't shadow ban you. Mark will shadow ban you. Mark will absolutely shadow ban you. Facebook created all kinds of stupid bans for us last year. Around Christmas time, we created the 12 days of Facebook, or the 12 days of censorship, as well as, obviously, as you can see here, some fresh memes. And so we encourage you to be ungoogleable. Be ungoogleable, folks. If Google tries to shake you down for money to be listed higher on the search results, just say no. Just say no to Google. In fact, we would prefer to be completely unfindable on Google. So good luck getting us off the search results. As big tech can't break the internet, but the internet can break big tech. That means you, Google, Facebook, Twitter, and Apple, as all these companies have been trying to censor those who disagree with them politically. Now, we don't want to sponsor our leftist friends, and our leftist friends don't want to silence us, as far as I know. So I don't know what's up with that. Big tech, you're not really doing the will of the shareholders. In fact, you're misleading the shareholders. If you're on the boards of these companies, you may want to leave the country, as there's nowhere to hide for these companies. There's way too much data, way too many screenshots, and way too much evidence of malfeasance and the misleading of your shareholders. Let's talk about my new favorite song. It's Runaway, Runaway by Mars Argo. It's just great. Here's a clip. Anyway, we've got links to that in the description also, as well as all the other sites that we're visiting here. Now, please don't censor us, Google. We know you're going to transcribe everything we say. So please, oh my gosh, please don't censor us, please. We're begging you, and we're gonna fix our tax information, Google. Don't worry. We're gonna totally fix our tax information, and then you'll have to come up with a different excuse to not pay us for the content on our monetized channel. Guess what? Facebook is screwing up, choking in court after claiming to be a publisher in the Laura Loomer lawsuit. Shout out Anomalous Howard for for sending us. We actually had this one saved in our tab already when you sent this message about this article. So it's great. It's great that you did that. We appreciate that. I don't know what's going on here. It looks like Mark is, maybe he's learning to speak. You know, as we saw him learn how to drink water before Congress. I'm not sure what he's doing in the video here. Perhaps learning to speak. I don't know. But Facebook has kind of backtracked. They've said, "Oh yeah, we're a publisher," and it's pretty cute. So I mean, I don't know if you're familiar, but the Section 230 of the Communications Decency Act protects big tech companies from being sued when they behave as platforms as opposed to publishers. It's very common news nowadays. Links to this article also below the video. I think Mark may be having a seizure in this photograph. Please leave a comment. And please become our next patron, perhaps, as patrons receive various important information from us earlier than everybody else. And Patreon is our source of funding on this channel, not YouTube. As those ads that you're watching, those are paying Google and not us. Thanks Smash team for tuning in, and stay tuned for an additional bonus feature. We're not going to talk about the Fed today, although we will ask you, are you prepared for the coming inflation? Were you aware that the Fed injected $80 billion of liquidity into the market because of a credit crunch the other night? There were not enough lenders to cover the demand on the lending market. Were you aware that the banking goal of 2.5% inflation means that if you're gaining less than 2.5% on your investments, that you're losing money? If you put your money in a money market that's gaining you 1% interest, and the current rate of inflation is 2.5, you've just lost 1.5% of your money year over year. And this has to do with the Federal Reserve, the creator of boom and bust cycles, who is muddying the water. The Federal Reserve is currently muddying the waters about the dollar. And I mean, fortunately, the rest of the world currencies are looking even worse than the dollar, or the dollar would be in an even worse condition. Now, we have seen massive spikes in precious metals. We were telling you to buy silver at 14 bucks an ounce. Did you buy any? Bonus feature is cosmic rays. Let's run down the stations that we like, as well as talk about cosmic rays in general. Here's Apatity. Very high levels there at Apatity, just over the past day or two. Barentsburg, some missing data there. We did see a spike back on the 11th and a bunch of missing data after that. Let's look at Athens. And there's the Athens neutron monitor. Pretty nominal range there as per the last 30 days at least. Next we'll look at Mexico City. There's the Mexico City monitor. Mexico City monitor for the past 30 days. And we did see a spike right at midnight between the 19th and the 20th there. Not as high levels as we saw back on the 9th of September. Next we'll look at Moscow, who usually has a much larger range. And we see some significant spikes there in the past 2 days also. Finally, we'll look at Oulu, Finland, as well as 2 Antarctican monitors. We'll see if they're returning data yet. There's Oulu. And here's DOMC Antarctica. And here's DOMB Antarctica. Mostly returning data once again. What are cosmic rays? Well, they're primarily made of protons, just like the solar wind. We've got links to this article also. This is located at the University of Delaware Bartol Institute. That's kind of the U.S. cosmic ray monitor. And although we disagree with many things that they say, about 90% of cosmic rays are hydrogen nuclei, protons, things like solar protons. Although these things are moving all around the galaxy and indeed probably in intergalactic space as well as intragalactic space. And again, links to this article. If you're not familiar with what cosmic rays are, I found out what cosmic rays are when I was about 6 years old reading the World Book. I believe it was the World Book Atlas. And I'll show you a clip of that later. I think we put it on the Instagram. Do you follow us on Instagram? Instagram.com/smAshomAsh. See some behind-the-scenes stuff. Or better yet, become a patron and see stuff before everybody else, such as cosmic ray alerts and coronal mass ejections and other things that you may not otherwise know ever. Anyway, thanks for tuning in, folks. We're out of here. Look for another video possibly coming out today. There's a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes, so look for changes in the channel and live streams coming, as well as the Equinox stream, live stream, on Monday. So we are out. Cheers. Best wishes. Enjoy your weekend. It's the last weekend of summer. Have a good one. And we'll be coming back around the mountain when we arrive at said location.